We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on.
Sorry about that. Hello and welcome to LA Talk Live. We are Del and Debbie's Mind, Body, Soul, and everything in between. I'm Debi Jones, a certified spiritual psychology coach specializing in the areas of personal growth, relationships, narcissistic abuse, codependency issues, and divorce recovery. And here to my left is my wonderful co-host.
Hello, everybody. I am Debi Carlin Boyle. I'm the other half of Del and Debbie's Mind, Body, Soul. I am a certified personal trainer, fitness instructor, nutrition, and wellness coach. And today, I get the opportunity to introduce our guests. So
before
we're
you
so
do the introduction,
yes.
should I just remind our audience?
Oh yes.
We just want to remind you that it's an interactive show, and we'd love you to call in if you have any questions or our interview today inspires you, because it is a really, really inspiring interview. So the call-in number is 323-473-3100. Okay.
Yes, and we're also on our Facebook page, so you
yes.
can check us out in Del Debbie's Mind, Body, Soul, and make a comment if you want to not call in, because we read them, we respond to them, and we're an interactive show, so join us. All right, so today it is our honor to be able to host a show that highlights an organization that makes such a huge difference in the lives of disabled people. EMPOWERTECH opens the door of technology for people with disabilities. And here today to tell us all about the organization are JoanElaine Anderson, the executive director, and Raquel Lewis, the director of the trade program. So we are so pleased and welcome to our show.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, this is going to be a tearjerker. I told you earlier. Debbie's bought the tissues.
I always have to provide those for these kinds of shows.
It's just such incredible work that you do. So before we go into the organization, if you'd like to just give us a little bit of background about where you grew up, and there's always some connection between how you grew up, what your values were, or your family values, and what people do today. So if you can just
I like that
fill us
connection,
in.
the mind, body, soul. We're really
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it.
Well, to be honest with you, I have my graduate degree in international business. So I was doing the fun stuff of working at a couple of Fortune 500 companies, MCI WorldCom, when WorldCom took over MCI. And then from there, I got into a small organization called UUNet, where a bunch of us branched off from WorldCom and started doing technology, primarily the lottery systems for overseas and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
So how I got into nonprofit is, it's actually a great story, and it involves technology. So I had told my crew, after being the business developer for a couple years with them and landing contracts in Spain for their lottery, which is still going on to this day, which is incredible. So what I did is I kind of announced, like, hey, I want to change. I want to start doing something different. So what they did, given that they're techies, is they created cookies that went out on the net and searched for job descriptions that they thought that I would like, and they dumped them into my email. Now, we used to hold one of the several backup servers for another lottery, and when the server would go down, we would get like bing, 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 because that's really bad if a server for a lottery system goes down. Long story short, I'm freaking out. It's 6 o'clock in the morning back east, and I'm thinking, oh my God, they did it again. They left the back door open. Well, no. It wasn't. It was all of these job descriptions coming into my email, and my email was blowing up.
Oh.
So out of all of these types of job descriptions, there was one that kind of rang out to me, and it was to be the VP of development for a nonprofit jazz radio station in Worcester, Massachusetts. So that's kind of where I got my start in nonprofit, and I started the very first all-female jazz and blues concert series called Spotlight on Women, and that's still going on to this day. So that was a bit ago, not that long ago, but it was a little bit ago.
Last year.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And it's a nonprofit.
Yes. So
Okay.
WICN was a
Okay.
nonprofit, one of 15 jazz radio stations in the country that are
Okay.
nonprofit. So, and from there, long story shorter, my mother's breast cancer returned, and I was on a visit here. And so I was in a place where I could move back to California from living in New England and kind of help my mother through that. And that was in 98. And then another interesting story, which is how I got into nonprofit here in California, is I used to be the executive director for American Heart Association, Ventura County Division.
Very cool.
So, and from that, I went into another nonprofit, and then I just wanted to do something else. And that's where, through, networking connections, EMPOWERTECH came up.
And how long have you been with EMPOWERTECH?
Almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
And-
this is a great thing because I had never, when I was growing up, we had a gal by the name of Sharon that was, one of my friend's sisters, and she had Down syndrome. And so I grew up with her. She was just normal for us, she childlike, but we had so much fun with her. And when you're a kid, you don't have those stigmas that come with, having a disability. However, I had never worked with a blind person, let alone met a blind person. I've met low-sighted people. So my first incursion into working with blind people was my very first blind and low vision director, Tom Lang. And now, and it's kind of a nice thing, but it's kind of not so nice sometimes because I actually forget that they're blind because they get along so well and they use technology so well to move around and to become more independent.
They have to heighten that
Oh,
sense.
yes.
Whereas
yes.
we take ours for granted.
Completely,
Yeah, I
completely.
get that.
Yeah.
We're going to go deep into the
Uh-huh.
organization, but before we do, I want to hear the road for Raquel and how you got in, because you've been working with nonprofits for a while as well. And
have.
so I
I
want
have.
to hear your road, and then we know how you both got into this organization, and then we'll go back to the whole organization in itself.
Well, okay, I'll start off a little bit about myself.
Yes.
I
we like
am
that.
a mom, of course, and I have 5 children. I started off as a single parent. I lost my first husband shortly after I had my 5th child. And it was a little difficult. I
Oh,
was
I
a
bet.
stay-at-home mom. And what I wanted to do was not get stuck with just being a stay-at-home mom, which is a great job. But I wanted to go back to school, which I did. So I went to several junior colleges, and I loved working with children. So I decided to work with, get a degree in early childhood, which I did. And I worked in that field for almost 20 years. What I didn't share is that my last 2 children were twins, and they both were born with spinal bifida, which is a birth defect. One had stage 1 spinal bifida, which is not as involved. He just has a little back problems. The other has stage 3, which has him where he is paralyzed from the waist down. He has some learning delay. So when he was 3 years old, we got his first wheelchair. And so that was my first experience with assistive technology.
I just have to say for a minute, I'm just sitting here, I'm listening to a stay-at-home, a mother of 5
Yes.
that lost her husband.
Yes.
Superwoman.
And the 2 youngest children have
Completely.
disabilities, and you
Yes.
still managed to go back to school and get a degree in education. I'm just blown away.
I did.
It's incredible.
It was a struggle.
I'm
you
sure.
know, I took my children a many a nights to class with me.
Oh, my goodness.
And the class was upset, but you know what? I fought back the tears, and I had my babies in the back of the class, and I
Okay.
yeah, I know. Where's the
tissue? I
Wait, I have, well,
persevered.
mine's used, so I can't give it to you.
my
But,
goodness.
You know,
So impressed. Oh my God.
That- yeah,
So
it's-
my
it's
twins now are 28 years
impressive.
old. So I have
Wow.
a good part of my life working with someone with disabilities. Actually, both of them with disabilities. I continued on school, and continued in more classes that dealt with people with disabilities. I ended up leaving there. I was invited to come and volunteer at EMPOWERTECH, which I did, and I got a chance to meet so many wonderful people there, and I fell in love, with the whole idea of providing a service that would enhance other people's lives with disability. So I've been there now for almost 5 years. I wouldn't go anywhere else. I would always.
Oh, that's
do
good.
that.
I like that.
Yeah, I bet Joni's happy about that.
Oh, and I did find a wonderful husband. So
Oh, good.
I'm happy about
and
that.
your kids are doing well.
They
and-
are
Good.
awesome. I'm very
Oh,
proud
nice.
of them and where they have gone.
Well-
And not one of them, especially the ones with the disability, have let anything hold them back.
I bet they're so proud of their mama too.
Incredible.
They
They've got to be
are.
proud of how
They
you took
are.
care of them and where you're at and what you do now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
Obviously-
we should talk about
Well,
what
amazing.
EMPOWERTECH actually does and is, and then talk
Well,
about
let's
your
just take another
programs. and-
second to just tell
I
you what
know,
an incredible role model you
Yes.
are to your children, and clearly that impacted them and the choices they've made in their life. So it's just
Yeah.
amazing
That's-
work
yeah.
you both do.
Applause, yes, because it's.
Thank you.
I mean, we're moms, but
Yeah.
you took on some extra challenges for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
Very impressive. So EMPOWERTECH. Let's talk about how it got started, what it is, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So in 1986, there was a group of parents that all of them in some way had a child with a disability. And 85% of these parents were told, just institutionalize your kids. They're never going to be able to do anything. Well, you don't ever tell a parent that because that is just the catalyst to go, well, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
So what they did is they started very small, and they would actually create their own technology to help their students live more independently, or their kids to live more independently.
Now, were these parents that had a technology background, or
No.
no, wow.
No,
They
no,
just-
tinkerers.
They
were
just
tinkerers.
knew at that time, like home computers were coming into
Right.
play, and that the internet had just gotten going.
Right, and low tech things too. So let's just say that you needed, I don't know if anybody's ever seen these, but the pointers that people that are quadriplegic use with their mouth, and they will point to things. So the very first one that was ever technically used, and also something along those lines, was created by one of the founders of EMPOWERTECH. And he's done there's a lot of technology that he created just with, and I hate to say it, but it's true, with coat hangers and and duct tape. We all love duct tape. So just to make their kids' lives better. Well, it kind of caught on because back then, having a child with a disability, they were invisible. And to some extent, we are changing that stigma, but it's still out there. So it was almost like this underground club for parents with kids with disabilities. So eventually they started a nonprofit. They used to work under the bleachers at Santa Monica High School. And they would do it like every day. And then they became certified in assistive technology, which back then they kind of created their own program to do this. And the first AT center, AT is short for assistive technology, was not in EMPOWERTECH. The very first one was up in San Francisco. However, Marianne, who started, it used to be called Computer Access Center before we changed it to EMPOWERTECH. I'm trying to fit this in quickly. All of the AT centers, we have had a hand in opening them. So
there was a snowball effect.
Big time.
Big time.
And how many of them are there?
there used to be 41. Now there's about 38 because some of us combined throughout the country, Japan,
Okay.
and China.
Oh, good.
so worldwide.
Okay, worldwide.
Worldwide.
All right. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Important to know.
Very
Because this was
impressive.
before we had technology in the palm of our hands. You know,
Yes.
this was way before any of that.
Yes.
So they worked with low-tech items. A low-tech item can be something as fascinating as a pencil that's larger, so somebody that has problems with grip can write. And glasses are considered technology. And so back then, that was assistive technology. It still is to this day, but nowadays it's everywhere you go. I can speak into my phone and it'll send the text.
That's right.
You know, it can talk to me. It can do all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah.
But back then, none of this was out
No.
there. And even up until recently, I used to battle with Microsoft and Apple because their technology wasn't accessible for people that were using joysticks or screen readers or any of that stuff. Nowadays, it's built into our phones. So we have come a long way. We still have a long way to go. So that's how it kind of started. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And we have 5 programs. We have our preschool and actually it's our school program where we go into preschools and high schools, and we'll either do an assistive technology assessment or we'll do a full program with the kids, and it's a cause and effect play interaction with students that are integrated classes with both abled and disabled. Kids of all ages and all
Does
of that.
the
kind of
school
stuff.
have to have specific technology for that
We
to be able to
bring it in.
integrate that?
We
You
bring
bring
it
it.
in.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we bring it in.
All right.
And then we have Raquel's wonderful program, the morning and afternoon trade programs, which is technology-related adaptability for greater independence and employability, basically. The difference between the 2 classes is the morning class is a little bit longer, and those students can read to at least the 3rd grade level. And so those are the ones that we really focus in on the employability. And then the afternoon students, we do have an emphasis on employability, however, more of a greater independence, shopping, learning recipes, bus routes. And I'll let you speak to that. And then we also have our blind and low vision, which is a separate program class, very similar to what Raquel does. And that's run by Ishmael Herrera, and he uses all of the platforms, Microsoft, Apple products, and screen readers. And he teaches people with low vision or that are blind, which glaucoma is on the rise. So it's pretty incredible.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. So people have either been born with no sight or they're losing their sight, they will come to Ishmael and he will just kick their booties and get them back into society. And he has a really good way of, all of us do, primarily you and Ishmael, because of the interaction that you have. There is no pity party here because there are only abilities. We don't see the disability. Our programs are tailored to your goal set, what you need. And we go to bat. We go to bat for our students.
So it's what they need for their specific disability. Yeah, because you
Absolutely.
have hearing impaired too.
We do.
You do?
We do. But generally speaking, we don't get a lot of call for that. However, we used to do the ASL classes. For to become an instructor, and then it kind of fell on the wayside. So if we do get a call, we will help, but primarily it's
Vision impaired,
right,
and
then all developmental disabilities, cancer survivors.
So how do
vets.
people now? Are these people independently calling you up? Are they private clients? Are they sent by organizations? How is this? How is it?
It's all of the
it?
above, yeah. Because we are a nonprofit, so that's my job, is to bring in the money so they can have the tools to do what they do best, which is teaching the students. So I do that through grants, and I do that through fundraising events, and then we are also vendored by all of the regional centers in the state of California and Department of Rehab. So the difference between those two, it's the easiest way to think about it this way, is regional centers work with developmentally disabled. Department of Rehab works with physically disabled.
Okay.
So, and when the IDEA Act came about in '74, the whole notion of institutionalizing people and having the counties take care of people with disabilities went out the door because they weren't taking care of people. So, and instead of having it that way, that's where they started these nonprofit entities called regional centers. So, and we work very closely with our regional centers. But we do get the occasional call where, we don't have any money, but we need some help, and we will help as best as we can. We do have our free, which is awesome. It's our open access lab every Wednesday from 3:30 to 6. And then we have our seniors lab, which is the exact same thing, on Thursdays. So you can come in and try out the technology, or, get on email, use Facebook, all of that stuff. And it's all in a very safe and friendly environment. So.
Yeah.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
Because I would
So
think that these are things that, we go through our everyday life that we just don't see. We don't see that there are people with disabilities that don't have the advantages that we do in the technology world. I mean, we're still learning so much ourselves because it's changing so ever quickly. But to have the disability and not to be able to, assimilate what other people are already doing with technology, what you guys do is so invaluable for them. And we don't, as a population, we don't notice that, because once again, we take it for granted. When you don't have a disability, you take things for granted, that things just, you learn and you do it and you move on with technology as it grows. So what you guys are doing is just amazing and just simply wonderful, and to let the general population know.
Giving people the opportunity to have an independent life and to just be master of their own course. I think it's just incredible. I have to share something for a minute because it's bringing up so much in me. When you were talking earlier about being a single parent and without your ex-husband died, or previous husband died.
Yes.
My mother was a single parent with 7 children and no father. So what she did was open up our home. We had a tiny little home. It's only 3 bedrooms, but she opened it up for mentally handicapped people to come and live with us.
I love
because
that.
at that time, the big state mental hospitals were closing down, and these people had nowhere to go. They'd been probably in these institutions for 50 years or more, and some of them had even just been, it was back in the Depression,
Right.
if you had like the 13th kid you couldn't take care of,
Right.
they would just put them in a workhouse or an institution. So these people have nothing wrong with them. They just, not all of them, a lot of them that came to us have severe disabilities and mental illnesses and mental handicaps, but they just didn't, they weren't trained in any of these things, life skills, anything like this. So they came to live with us, and we did a lot of occupational therapy with them, and gardening and beautiful things. But technology back then wasn't important. And now and my brain is going and thinking, because we still have these homes for mentally handicapped people. And how incredible it would be. I'm going to go home and suggest that we get computers.
Like I said, it's stuff that we don't think about. And you, as who lived with mentally handicapped people, didn't think about as you were learning technology, that they needed to. No,
I'm almost 60.
But as things started to evolve for us, you don't think about what's left behind and how it hasn't evolved for them, and the fact that you have this organization that can give
thank your
them
mother
and
for us,
empower
too.
them.
I will. She's an incredible one.
Yeah.
Especially the gardening aspect and all of that.
Well, we
There's
have
something
these
about
in your
that.
hands.
Yes.
She took over these great big mansions in Wales that nobody could upkeep anymore, and turn them into homes, and they're on beautiful stately grounds.
See, that's
our
fantastic.
residents, like, they could go riding horses and gardening and taking care of each other, but they weren't employed outside of the home. They would have jobs within the home.
Right.
We would pay extra for helping out and things like that. It gave them a sense of purpose. But
Like the
this
very
is
first
amazing.
independent living centers,
Yeah,
almost.
exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So that's
So let's talk about all the programs that you do have. I know I have you have an open access program, assistant assessment program, school programs, which we touched on, the low vision and blind service, trade program, which we touched on, and the older adults, which are seniors. But so what is open access? So you were saying, is that the nights that people come and they're able?
It's our free. What we decided a long time ago is those people that do call that just want to see what it's about. We suggest strongly that they come in on a Wednesday between 3:30 and 6 and kind of check us out. And a lot of our students, past students and present students, will stay because it's kind of a fun way to interact with technology. So let's just say you had a child that has autism and you're looking for a program to enrich him, and he's in between like high school, it's the transition age, and you don't know what to do. You do want him to become more independent, that hopefully that he already is, or just learn employment skills. That's what we suggest. Hey, come on over, it's free, you could check it out. And it doesn't make any, I mean, you can keep on coming as long as you wanted to. So that's our open access lab. It's just our way of giving back to the community. And then some of our students that have kind of graduated out of Raquel's program that are in college, they'll come and we'll help them with their homework, or, you know, for instance, the whole Facebook social media thing. And then that way they can, you know, come to our office, use our computers, and touch base with their family that could be living back east. You know, we've had, those are a lot of good stories about that, where they get their first Facebook account and then they find their sister that they haven't talked to in 10 years, and now they've reconnected. So
That's very cool.
those are great stories.
Great stories, yes.
And people find you how? Like if I did have an autistic child that needed these services, you just go on and Google technology for disabled, and hopefully your programs will
we pop
up.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then our
these-
website is empowertech.org. So
Right, and we're showing that up on the screen, and we'll talk about it and give all the information in the end so people can
Now,
find
what
you.
about people that don't live around one of these centres? Is there anything that's online that they can participate in or learn something online? Or do you have to
I
physically?
love that question because it's like my dream to, you know, have
Branch
satellite
out.
offices all over. And we have tried that in the past because we are the only assistive technology center in LA County and in Ventura, especially with how we work our programs and how Raquel sets up her lesson plans. So, and I'm going to let you speak to that. However, we do travel. So there is a way that if you needed an assessment that we would travel to you. I mean, it depends. I mean, I'm not going to go all the way to San Diego because I can refer you to.
Actually, I was thinking about Europe.
Oh, no, I have people in Europe that I can refer you to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spain.
Yeah.
more
Not yet.
specific.
Yeah, not yet, but
Yeah,
they're working on
okay.
it. So,
right.
and
Well,
China and in Japan. So.
Oh,
Wonderful.
fantastic.
Yeah. So you're planning on expanding this worldwide
Yes.
and making it, I mean, it's an incredible,
Yes.
incredible thing that you do. And
It
yes,
always
it'd be
takes money.
wonderful.
I was just going to say, and we're going to get into that and how the funding works and how, you know, and how people can get involved if they want to.
We need
too.
one of these offices in every city across the world. Oh, I mean, small town even too. I mean, people can't travel. So, okay, wonderful.
Oh, my gosh, our
goodness.
first half hour's up. Well, we touched on programs, which we
Yeah.
will. We'll get more into that with
Yeah,
Raquel.
I would love exactly
Yeah.
when we get back from
Yes.
Raquel to start talking about some of these specifically, because when you're talking, I'm getting sort of visuals in my mind. I want to know how the blind program works. I
Yes.
mean, what tools you use, because you think it's such a visual component. So anyway, we are Del and Debbie's Mind, Body, Soul. We're just going to go to break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. And
Stay with
remember,
us, please.
we are interactive, so please call us at 323-473-3100, and we'll be right back.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hi, I'm Del.
And I'm Debbie.
And as a special thank you to our listeners, we'd like to offer a complimentary coaching session with either one of us or both of us if you so choose. Check us out on our individual website, deladjones.com and fitbydesignla.com. We can work with anyone, anywhere, in person or remotely.
Contact us through our Facebook page or website at Del and Debbie Mind, Body, Soul, and leave your info and we will get right back to you. We look forward to assisting you in living a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. Welcome back. We're Del and Debbie's Mind, Body, Soul, and everything in between. And today we're hosting a show with this wonderful organization called EMPOWERTECH. And we have the director of the organization with us, and we also have the director of the trade program with us, which is one of the programs that's implemented to help disabled people with learning technology. And we were, right before break, we left off on talking about the programs in general. So I wonder, Raquel, if you could shed some light on how they run, that like sort of the course it takes within the program and when students first come to you and how it all plays out.
Okay, first of all, I run the trade program, and that program is actually technology related.
And trade stands for what again?
That's what it, technology related accommodation, development, and employment. And what we do there is we teach the students once they come to me how to use Microsoft Office applications such as Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint.
I need you.
I know. They're probably more technically savvy than we are.
Exactly.
Let's face
They
it.
are great.
Yeah.
I have some awesome success stories, but they learn these different programs. Now, all of them coming in don't know a lot about computers. So I start from the very beginning, the basics. We have several different types of assistive technology equipment for any that may be coming in that need large print keyboards where the letters are larger with contrast so they can see them better. We have software where that it teaches them how to do typing. We also have large screen monitors in case they come in and they have just a little bit of vision impairment. So we teach them how to use these various programs in order to be able to input data. In the morning class, we are, like Joni shared, we were geared toward employability. But in afternoon class, we do the same thing, but it's at a slower pace. You know, the students really enjoy the program because I take a personal interest in each and every
So
one of our
important.
students.
Good for you.
And I tailor whatever their needs is to our program, not so much tailor our program to them. So it's more like whatever their needs are. I like going beyond the computer aspect of it into the actual, okay, if you become employable, you may have a few problems or concerns in the workplace, so I address those as well.
Now,
So you become their personal psychologist.
or mentor.
I wear so many hats,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's and they share so many things
Yeah.
with me, and I want to address all of that. I don't just want to send them out with the computer training. I also want them to be able to navigate and to address, any
concerns.
problem
And
they're
have
going to
that-
have
the
in the
things
work-
that
and
they're
have a
workplace.
support system behind
Yeah.
them. Do you actually coordinate with organizations that hire people with disabilities?
We are getting ready to start our own employability program. I'm still going through the certification process of that. So that's on top of her training all of the aspects of Microsoft Office Suite application. She does mock interviews.
I do.
Conflict resolution.
Resumes.
She does
Filling
it
out
all.
applications.
Yeah, she does it all. Resume building, cover letter writing,
So important.
references, all of it.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Professional dress-up day.
Yeah, she does that
so
too.
they-
Yes.
dress for
Yes.
success, so
Yep.
they understand
Exactly. Yep.
how to.
So they can
So-
come back to you basically and share the experience and say how the interview went and if they feel
They do. And
Yeah.
if they get the job and when they get the job,
Yes.
not if,
Yes.
they, I follow them.
Yeah.
I touch bases, see how you're
You
doing.
follow up.
Make sure
Wow.
that door stays open in case
Yes.
they need to
Oh,
come
that's
back.
wonderful.
Lovely.
That's really
They
wonderful.
must just feel. Do you see as they're going through the process? Do you see them like sitting up a little taller and getting a little. There's a video that we want to share, but we'll tell our viewers how to access it. But you can see how it's almost like, I work in gyms and people go in and they're kind of sluggish when they work out and they go start the day, and then when they finish the workout, they walk out like they're Superman.
Yeah.
And I bet through
I
the
see that.
course of through the time that they take these courses with you, they must feel so empowered and so good about
do.
themselves.
And I want them to
it's
be
confidence
relaxed with who they are.
Confidence is what gets you anywhere in life, is believing in yourself. It's not what skills you have or skill sets necessarily. It's how you believe about yourself. And like Debbie said, that we can't wait for you to watch the video. It just, I literally, I said it brought tears to my eyes. I was sobbing.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful. These people are, oh my God, it just was an incredible, incredible sight to see. So
Well,
must be
it's funny
very
that
rewarding.
you say believe, because we have, we don't have a formal graduation. We have what we call our Believe and Achieve celebration. So, and it's in December, and that's when they get their certificates of achievement. And Raquel puts this whole entire thing on, and the students help her do it too. And there's a great program and a great presentation. And as she's giving out their certificates of achievement, she says little things about them that is completely different than the next person or
They're
the
so
next
individual.
student. Yes, and she's got. It's a pleasure working with her and with the rest of the team, because I'm kind of like in the back, just making sure that they have the tools that they need. But watching the success stories and watching how, dealing with her students, and so it's not easy all the time. Trust me, it's not easy all the time.
I know. I grew up
Everybody
with
has
it.
bad
It's-
days.
Yeah.
Of
And
course.
she just perseveres, and there's no mollycoddling. There's none of that. It's just, we believe in you. You believe in yourself.
yeah,
And
every-
then, they do. They get that rise in the spine, and it's like,
Yeah.
I can do it.
Yeah.
I can
Well,
do it.
Somebody and what you
Everybody's unique.
Yes,
I mean,
I was just
every
gonna say
single
that.
person comes onto this planet with their unique gift, and it's the ability to help somebody find what it is, what their unique contribution to this world is, and it doesn't. You don't have to have, limits. There are no limits
Right.
to you
And
getting
it's
to your special
exactly,
gift.
Yeah, I was
Exactly.
just thinking the same thing. And when you were saying earlier, you just have to believe in yourself. Well, you help them to believe in themselves, because it's so easy not to, especially in a society that's moving around you very quickly.
Exactly.
With a lot of people that don't have disabilities. So you start to think, oh, something's wrong with me. And to have you take that and bring their assets to the forefront and give them the knowledge they need to feel empowered and to deal with them individually is just so commendable that we've got to thank you for being,
thank you.
taking that time
I enjoy it.
and doing that for them.
I want to hear some success stories.
Yeah, me too.
Let's get into some of those really lovely personal stories.
And
You can change the names.
yeah,
And
or
I
you
will,
can use
I
them.
will.
Yeah, but giving us a situation where they came in like this and they left like that, and here's all the ways they had to go. Here's what they went through to get there.
Okay, I have actually a couple of them that I really, really love to share. One is a young man. He came in. His dad actually was looking for a program for him to learn about computers and just basically Excel and Microsoft Word. So he touched bases with his local regional center, and they referred him to us. What Dad does is he works for a company that has an entry-level program, and he wanted his son to be, he had applied for his son to be in the program.
What was his disability, his son?
Autism.
Autism.
He has autism. And it's a well-known airplane company. I won't leave you.
All right, let's start.
But
guessing.
anyhow,
Which we do work with. So
yeah.
Oh, nice.
So we taught him. He learned really fast, and he learned those different programs, especially Excel, where he was able to create spreadsheets. And so he was accepted into the program. And he's been there for over a year. He actually has had 2 promotions.
In a year?
In a year's time. And so he's not flying airplanes, but he is doing a wonderful job. And I don't know if we can mention the company.
Yeah,
Is
you
that
can.
Yes,
okay?
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
Northrop
Okay,
North
So
Road,
he's
yeah.
working for Northrop now, and I'm very happy. And they had the program for people with disabilities.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's
through
important
his
to
dad,
share. I
he
think
got him
that-
in. My next one is Katie. Katie actually came to our program, and she was really shy, and we kind of talked to her. We got her to come out of her little shell. She actually is now employed with UCLA. They had a program as well where they hired people with disabilities. She was able to create a PowerPoint that was raved about doing her application process, a personal PowerPoint of herself. They were so impressed.
Oh,
They hired
beautiful.
her right on the spot, and she's been there. September will be her first year. So we're very proud of her.
Was
And
was she autistic too? Did you mention that?
she had a little mental
Okay.
disability.
She did have autism, and it's a catchphrase that we all hate to use, but yeah, we hate.
Yeah, so she's wonderful. The success stories have made me weep because they have done so well. The students have come in. I've seen many changes in all of our students. Joan was sharing about our Believe and Achieve program. I share about how the students have improved, but we also allow them to share about how they've improved and what they've gotten out of the experience of attending EMPOWERTECH.
Yeah.
And I want to piggyback on her because she's not touting herself.
I'm sure she's
That's your job.
I know. So about 4 years ago, and I'm going to piggyback on the Katie thing. What Raquel did is we are technically a school. We don't have a graduation. We're not, you don't walk away with a certification in MS Word or anything or Office Suite. However, she started to set it up very similar to a school with an ASB, Associate Student Body. We have a president of a class, the vice president of the class. And they're responsible for mentoring and picking out other really good mentors to welcome in the newer students. They help with the attendance. They help with anything else that needs to have happen. So she started that in mind with Katie because she saw the leadership skills that she had. It was just behind, she just wasn't, she needed that push.
Yeah.
And so Raquel did that for her. So yeah, that's.
Now, how does this? So you say it's like a school. Is there a school year, or does people just come in and start wherever they're
Wherever
at
they're
and
at.
graduate whenever
Wherever
it's
they're
appropriate?
Yep.
And about how many students at one point would you say are enrolled in the program?
In morning class, we have 55, and in afternoon class, we have, it depends, between 30 and 40. It depends. Some people come every day, some people don't. Some people have work. So, and then in our blind and low vision, we have the most we can have at any given 4-month period is 30 students. So,
And what is the ratio of a teacher and student?
3 to 1.
3 to 1. That's incredible.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're really
That's
getting
why
some
they're-
individual. Yeah. So, yeah, they are more technology savvy than we are. There's no doubt.
Exactly.
Could they come
I'm
over
really
and
to
help
be-
us
could
with
you
our
do one for
social
us?
media? Yeah.
Maybe we could sneak in there
Yeah.
and like learn from
And they
learn.
do run our social media. We
They
have,
do.
Yeah. Katie used to be
Isn't that
really on top
fabulous?
of it, but we haven't found that perfect fit to take it over yet. But they are the ones that will email me a story and say, hey, I want this on Facebook or I want this on Twitter. And they, yeah, go ahead.
Wow.
That's incredible. That's
And
so
so,
wonderful.
and you assess each person when they come in to see you, where they're at, what their needs are, what their wants are, how employable they're going to be if they're within that age, and all of that. So,
Yes.
okay, that's
So a
very
private
cool.
citizen could just walk in with their child and say, my child needs help in these areas. Can I have my child be a student here? Could it work that way, or you
It-
need to go through?
We do need to go through a process. I mean, anybody can walk in at any time. We welcome that, but at the same time, classes are going on.
Sure.
So we do have, for instance, like Wednesday nights is a great time to come in. We usually our referrals will come from a regional center or a school district because we work with all of the school districts or Department of Rehab, but we also have the word of mouth. So we have that too. And but just know, because it ebbs and flows where we'll have people just walking off the street going, I want to see this program, but we have to be careful because we don't want to disrupt the program that's already
And those
happening.
that are already enrolled.
Right.
Yes.
So,
Smart.
But yes, I mean, you can
So
call
we
us
have
and we'll
to-
talk to you.
We have to say that you're in the building that we actually
Yes.
tape our radio show or our live streaming show is at here at what we call the Paradise Building at 9200 Sepulveda Boulevard in the city of Westchester, which is right where we are. And we have been coming back and forth here for a couple of years, and we've seen your students coming and going. And finally, we were introduced through Richard, and we're so happy that we were. I had no idea what it was. I always wondered, and until I walked into your office the other day, I always just thought it was like a reception area. And then you go in, and there's all these classrooms set up, and it's really a very big and very organized space that it's like an optical illusion. I had no idea. It's that
world
you do
beyond the
Yeah,
reception desk.
exactly. It was like I just never knew what was going on, but everybody's walking in and out. And I always have my dog with me, and so they comment on the dog. They can feel or she can smell them, so she goes up and licks them, and so it's just it's great to have you come join us and
Yes,
tell us all about who
wonderful.
you are and what you do.
Now, I know I keep going back to this video, which I feel really bad because I'm teasing our audience with a video that you can't see on this show, but we're going to give you the link to look it up later. But I want to know, how did that come about? Because you said this is something you do each year, and it looks like everyone is having so much fun.
Yeah.
And how do you choose the music? Who directs it? Who
Well,
cuts
I'm kind
it?
of a crazy. I have a thought, and it's like I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I have a very good friend of mine, who's actually a director he's in the entertainment industry, and I said, Paul, can we do this? And he goes, yeah. And I said, I want it done to this song. This is how I want it done. I'm very hands on. And I said, and I want it done tomorrow. He goes. And thank God he knows my personality, because it's like, I want it done, I want it done now. I ask
He knows you're
Richard,
not kidding.
I come up with these ideas and I execute within a matter of days or a week. So that's kind of what happened. And with Paul's creativity, and Paul also volunteers with us too. So he's not only a personal friend, but he volunteers. And the students know Paul, loved Paul, but he actually got them completely in and out of their comfort zone. And then come to find out, some of them, I never even knew this, were they're actors. And
I mean, they're lip syncing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
They're
so
just
we
so
had
cute.
very few rehearsals, and it was just, let's go for it. This is like my vision, what I want, and Paul executed it with a few things of his. And at the very end, there is Christian, who is a non-com, and what that means is he's nonverbal.
Oh.
It's not that he can't talk, it's just that he doesn't like to talk. And so at the very end, when he belts out, I'm not going to say it because it's the very end of the video, when he belts out in his very low voice, I was like, I think you can hear me in the back going, what?
It's like that's a breakthrough. That's a sheer breakthrough, and that's
Yeah.
in itself makes you feel
Yeah.
so
yes.
wonderful.
So wonderful. And you do, how many videos have there been in the series?
I think we've done 4. We're doing 3.
Do you do
2 or
them as
4.
Christmas cards or around the holidays
Yeah.
to wish everybody happy holidays?
Yeah, because that way we show them at the Believe and Achieve.
Yes.
So, yes.
Now,
Yeah.
what is this? The Believe and Achieve is the graduation you
Yes.
were talking about.
Yes.
Now, is it just for family members, or
It's
is it
open to the public
open
because
public
we
too?
love showing off their work and showing how proud we are of them. But more importantly, that's when they get to shine. And honestly, it's not a fundraiser. The focus is completely on them. They get to get dressed up. They get to say a few words.
where
when
is
they
And you
get
do this
held?
here? Yeah. Do you do it?
I work with several different hotels in the
Oh,
area.
okay. So you get a ballroom, like a
Yeah.
little room, a
Yeah.
center.
Yeah.
Good.
So when is the next one of those coming up?
It's in December. It's usually the first first Wednesday night in December. So
Okay.
Wow.
Whatever
And how
date
do
that
we
is.
get tickets for that?
I will let you know.
Okay, great. Well,
Yeah.
what about our
Because it's free.
listeners?
Because
Yeah.
it's free and open to the
Oh,
public, and so
wonderful.
once I secure, then we'll
Yeah.
just get that going.
It's very cool to see all that
And
achievement.
what-
And yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to. What about fundraising?
Yes, that was exactly what I was going to say.
I know.
Get all these. this
Yeah,
money to do this.
funding and contributing is what we want to talk about. So
85% of my funding, or our funding, I'm sorry, comes from individual donations, grants, and about 15% of that comes from events. Given how the economy in the last, it's gotten a lot better, but in the last years, events kind of went by the wayside as far as, me throwing huge galas or something like that. I throw events that are totally off the wall. Like we went, my blind board president, Keith Bro, and I went tech-free for 48 hours 2 Labor Days ago. Memorial Day or Labor Day? I forget. It was in May, whichever one is
that
in
one's
May.
Memorial.
Okay, Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So literally, and we had...
This is so funny for a tech-based organization.
We
You
went
went
totally
tech-free.
tech-free.
On
But he's
purpose.
blind, and this is how he uses, that's how he gets around. I'd never been on a bus before in LA. We were checking to see how accessible LA was. We had a lot of different events that we had to go and do, or we called them challenges. And so people fundraise like, hey, if you get through this challenge, we'll give you $5,000.
Oh,
I was
going
getting-
to say, how'd you get money from that?
Yeah.
Okay, now
So,
I
and
know.
if we touched any kind of technology device, even if
All
we
bets
touched
were
it,
off.
yeah. So whoever was funding that particular challenge, they pulled it, and we didn't touch anything. I mean, but it was.
You weren't allowed
and
to
we were
call
live
each other?
streaming it. We were live streaming it the whole entire time.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Or there's the technology of it.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to touch the technology.
So, and we.
Well, that's a great idea.
So that's
Good
and
little
then
idea
we
person.
have done in the past skydiving. That was kind of fun.
So
Again,
people,
is that-
you would raise money for
Individuals,
individuals
very much
would
like
raise
a walk.
money.
Like
So it was
if
like
you're
kinda like
doing
a
walk and
challenge.
You raise
Yes.
the money
Okay.
for the walk. We did that. Raised money to go skydiving.
Now, who was actually skydiving? Were you
We-
participating or?
This is a scary
I've done
thing.
it once.
Okay.
Well, that's
So
one
I
more
will
time
not
than
do
me.
it again. We had half of our blind and low vision students. We had several of our local CEOs do it. You were there. You didn't jump, but you were there.
You were catching.
Yeah, and family and friends.
I was
So-
supporting.
Marking the spot.
Yeah.
Land here.
Yeah, but it was interesting because, when our blind and low vision participants jumped out, it was actually more difficult for them than it was for a sighted person because their hearing and everything else
so
is so much more
intense.
powerful.
Yeah.
So when they got on the ground, it was a little tricky. And I didn't know that, and they didn't know that. But I mean, they were fine. But either they loved it or they hated it.
I know.
Because we have a couple that still now do it on their own. So that's like their new hobby. They got into skydiving. So
Well, you could take it one of two ways. Either you're seeing everything, and that's what causes the nervousness, and when you don't see it, so you're not nervous, or because the intensified noise, it makes you even more nervous than if you could see and balance that.
I'm
And
just
so,
wondering
wow.
how you can gauge how close to the ground you are. I mean, if you don't have sight, I mean,
Well, but
is
you're
that-
with they were tandem,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
they're
we were
tandem.
tandem. We were
They're
tandem.
tandem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay.
And
But
you
even
got
so,
somebody.
just to mentally prepare yourself, can they probably say to
well,
them, we're about
they
to
were
land?
they were
Yeah.
completely talking
Okay,
to them
good.
during that, and that's
Wow.
another thing because they had never this particular jump site. It's in Paris, and we for a long time were really good. We're still good friends and partners, but it was the first time any of them had met a blind person, and it's where
challenge for
the
them.
British Air Force trains the jumpers train. They come here and train to this
The
particular
Red
jump
Devils,
site.
is that?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So
My
that's what-
sister, my
British.
sister jumped.
Yes.
My sister jumped with
so
the Red
they
Devils.
were there, and so a couple of our guys went down with those guys in tandem with them. So it was a great afternoon.
Very cool,
yeah.
and you
Sounds
raised money
incredible.
doing it,
We
and
did.
all on top of it.
did.
And
So what's the next one that's coming up that we can get our listeners to
Well, I
support?
actually this coming in May, I want to do a lip syncing contest. So and
with
it'll be
anybody with your students
With
or
all of
anybody
us.
anybody
Yeah.
with
okay
all of us.
Yeah.
with
okay
all of us. So
and
and
then
it
you
would
get-
be and it would be like a
Get people to
dinner.
sign up.
And everybody, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. That
sounds
And they
great.
just think and especially because most of our students love music because we have music playing too.
Uh-huh.
And they dance, and I just think it would be too much fun to have a
Yeah.
lip. What do you think? Right? It would be awesome.
I
Oh,
think
Rich is going to. He's
Well,
going to
he'll be there.
He's always in the karaoke
Yeah,
bars.
if
He'll be.
music is playing, he'll be there. No, that's a great idea. And
Yeah.
music's so inspiring
Yeah.
and universal, and just gets people moving and getting work from
Smiling
the
and
inside
laughing.
out. And what a great idea! So, do you find is it a task to get the funds? I mean, or do you feel like you have corporate sponsors, correct? So that's a given that you're going to get a certain. That's good.
Yeah.
And are you always soliciting to try
Every
to
day.
get
Every day. That's a good portion of my day.
Yeah.
So,
Get looking for more corporate support.
corporate support,
So let's
individual
Just-
support.
yeah. Does the? I mean, what about the government money from the schools? You work directly with schools.
We're vendorized with them, but the easiest way to equate it is they don't pay us enough to even cover 15 minutes of a training session or of a class. So that's where I have to fundraise, you know,
Right.
not only
Really pick
for
it up.
and 85 cents on every dollar that I bring in goes directly into the programs. So it's not actually this past year I was at 92%. So 92 cents on every dollar goes
Yeah,
directly back into the program.
That's
Yes.
incredible. Well, just in case I don't want to run out of time here, start sharing your website and how people can contact you, how
Yes.
people can make contributions or anything that they can, get involved in. I mean, do you have volunteers?
Oh, gosh, we always need volunteers. And she's shaking her head going, yeah.
You can use some assistance.
And the great thing about volunteering for EMPOWERTECH is that it's hands-on. You know, you're not coming in and answering our phones, although sometimes you do because we get busy. But you're working with the students, and you create this connection, and you want to see them.
What
do
a great
well.
feeling to
So
be able
our
to do that.
website is EMPOWERTECH, EMPOWERTECH.org. And there is a donate button on there, so you can definitely donate that way. If you're interested in doing our lip syncing thing that we have coming up in May, I'm still working through the details, so that's going to be fun. And then shortly we will be putting it up on our website, our Believe and Achieve celebration for our students coming in the first Wednesday in December. So, and volunteering. Please volunteer.
Now,
even
what
if it's for a
skills are
couple
you
hours a day.
looking for from your volunteers?
They must be nice.
And if they're not,
They
you'll
must
make
have
them.
a good sense of humor, and you do need to have some knowledge of Microsoft Office Suite.
You do.
Definitely, yeah.
Are all your computers are Microsoft? There no
we have
Macs.
both.
You have both.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
We have both.
So
And
so you
iPads.
teach how to sync technology if they have iPads, iPhones,
Yes.
and Macs.
Yes. Yes.
Lovely.
Yes.
Lovely. So they
Yes.
can be on the road.
Now, I'm
and be
assuming
able
that
to do it.
Microsoft is one of your biggest donors.
They are not.
Oh, my goodness. Did I hit on
We're
the wrong subject there? That's something we have to change.
No, they're very. They've worked with us, in fact, their VP of accessibility is a good friend, and he's tried.
Oh.
So, but the nice thing is we do the Q&A for any things that are coming out for them. Ishmael makes sure that it is accessible. Same thing with Apple. Ishmael's been working with Mac and Apple products for a long time to make sure that it's accessible. We also do website accessibility tests to make sure that your websites are accessible, especially if you have any government funding whatsoever. You must be 508 compliant, otherwise you will get fined big time.
So what does that mean? 508 compliant.
Accessible.
Accessible.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Wonderful.
so people, we keep flashing your website, but I know we want you to look at this video. So does this video?
It's on
'cause
there.
there are a lot of videos on your website. Are they like chronologically in order from the most recent one that we were just talking about?
If you go to the website and click under YouTube. Actually, sorry, I'm trying to think. I think it's the one with the world on it, and it should be
Yes,
right there.
yes,
It's
yes.
the one with the world.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a world, and you
Yeah.
click right there, and
Okay.
that's it.
Very
All right,
It's
so
the very
we're-
first one.
That's
Yeah.
what we're encouraging you to do because it's going to give you more than
A great
the
sense,
sense, but an
exactly.
essence and the spirit of what an amazing organization you guys are and how hard you work to help these people, have confidence and assimilate into society.
Yeah.
Because this is
And have independence, as you said.
Yeah.
Just that wonderful sense of, contribution and independence. It's invaluable. So
Completely
wonderful,
is.
wonderful work that you do.
we thank you
Oh my
so
goodness.
much
We
for
thank you guys. Thank you so much.
joining us and sharing what the hard work that you do.
Yeah, and if anybody's out there listening that knows anybody that would want to contribute to this very worthwhile foundation, then please contact them through their
Share.
website.
So one more time, give the website for those that are just listening.
It's empowertech.org, EMPOWERTECH.org.
Thank you
Okay.
so much,
Yes,
JoanElaine
yes.
and
Thank you
Raquel,
both.
for joining us
Yeah.
today.
Thank you.
Please get a hold of us if you have any
fun.
further questions, and we'll pass all the information along. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining us. We're going to see you next week at 2 p.m.
We have
Bye.
a fabulous show for you next week. Bye-bye.
Well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance.
Thank you for tuning into LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network, original reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk. Stay tuned.